Hey guys, this is Those Guys with your host, Matt Marrero, along with your other host,
Anthony St. Andrews.
Hello, Anthony
Yes.
St. Andrews.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
So anyway, welcome. It's been a while, but here we are doing 2 episodes of Gotham in 1 hour. Can we do it? Maybe. If we can't, then it doesn't happen. So the stakes are really high.
End game. There is no end game
Yeah,
for anyone here.
Yeah, right. The stakes are very high. So, we're just going to jump right in. If you want to talk to us about a specific episode when we're on that episode, so because today we're talking about episodes 4 and 5. So if you want to talk to us about episode 4 when we're on it, you can call in, the number being 718-664-9468. And then when episode 5 rolls around, we'll bring up the number again if you want to call in. And, of course, if any of you are thinking, darn, I have to get off the internet, or, someone else wants to listen, but they can't, use their computer. Maybe they have one computer in their house and it's being occupied. Tell them not to worry. You can use our call-in number to also listen in. So if you call in, right, 718-664-9468, and you don't press 1, we'll see that, we'll see you there, but we won't see a notification that says, I want to talk. So we'll realize that you just want to sit there and listen in, and you can just do that. So, Anthony,
Yes.
episodes 4 and 5, it's been a month and a week, which is almost a month and a half. We've had Gotham, the show, in our lives for a month, more than a month. How does that make you feel?
Correct. I like where it's going so far. I haven't really hit an episode that kind of made me go, this isn't really the greatest. I think they've all had really good stuff. Some of them, episode 4, honestly, for me was a bit, I don't want to say boring, but it was kind of under the radar, in my opinion, compared to what's went down in other episodes. So I will say that, like every episode, the Penguin is just the scene stealer for me. I don't know.
Yes, I agree. Yes, I agree. I think I think episode 4, when looking at it, it was very much, just that episode like in comics. And it's kind of funny. This show is very much like comic books, I feel. Not necessarily Batman comic books, but like comic books, I feel. So this was just that, episode 4 was just that episode, right, where you just sit there and you go, okay, kind of building up towards the next episode, which I think it did nicely.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of what it was about. But there was a lot of interesting stuff. I mean, the idea of, I'm a hitman. For who? Either or. The idea of just having hitmen just going after each other, but then not caring about taking down the other side. Again, I work with how I'm paid. Is very nice, and it's enjoyable as a plot device.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I
so
love the last
minute
save by Harvey Bullock at the very end of the episode, just that whole nod he gave to Gordon. Gordon nods back, and like the partnership is getting bigger. I like it. Yes.
There's a lot of good things, in this series so far. And one thing I want to ask you about is how do you feel about Bruce Wayne having so many interactions with Jim Gordon? How does that make you feel?
It's tough to
50-50,
explain,
right?
because, I like it, and at the same time, I'm not the biggest fan of it, because I feel like Gordon is having a really big influence on him involving him becoming Batman, and while that isn't 100% accurate to the comics, I don't think it's a bad move either. It's just not what I'm used to, and I kind of just feel like, you're a cop. He's not the only person in the world you need to visit.
Yeah, it's a weird situation where I feel, here's the thing, it makes sense, which is bad, because it makes sense, just not something that I think many of us enjoy, but it really does make sense, and here's why I feel. And, hey, if you disagree, 718-664-9468, but the way I feel, right, is the idea that, first off, Jim Gordon feels in debt to Bruce Wayne. Right, and Bruce Wayne, who, Jim Gordon being a military man, he just has the discipline. So he feels as if, honor and all this stuff. So he feels as if he's in debt to Bruce, and he will do anything he can to, get the killer caught. However, right, and then, of course, in turn, you look at someone like Jim Gordon, he's a model man, to base yourself, after. So, you would see little Bruce, and he would look up at Gordon, and he would think, damn, I want to, that's the man that I would like to be. And you can see how in, later, right? Let's say later, as in, when Bruce Wayne is older in Batman, he is now just like Jim Gordon. So Jim Gordon goes, oh, I like that guy. It kind of meshes up well.
Yeah.
Of course, it just, so it makes sense that he would have a little bit of a lasting effect on him. But at the same time, I do admit that, I can see where people are coming from when they say that they don't really enjoy, having all of this interaction. Which, again, if they're smart, I think, as I've said this before, if they're smart, this will be the only season where he has that type of interaction with him. Even though I love the actor of Bruce Wayne, he's a great actor. He's a great Bruce Wayne. But hopefully, if this show goes on for 5 seasons, they don't have Bruce Wayne on for 5 seasons unless they're doing something else that I really wish they would do, and do a time skip, a time jump into what could be year 1 or maybe a bit before it and things like that. But if they keep on sticking to their present, the past and whatever, then it would be very upsetting if Bruce Wayne is still a part of it.
Especially because he does have to go away for training for a while.
For a very long while, which,
yeah.
I mean, again, I guess you could say, there's quote-unquote unaccounted time. So he'll take some time to be in Gotham, because it's weird. They do say that Bruce Wayne did go off the map after the death, or not completely. I'm asking you, because
I'm trying to remember, actually.
Yeah, no, because I don't think we really had that much confirmation in terms of just, Bruce Wayne's parents died. Bruce Wayne not really seen public. Bruce Wayne come back.
I know, I forget what interview it was, but there was an interview where the actor that plays Bruce Wayne mentioned there are some scenes that involve Bruce getting re-antiquated with the world, like he goes back to school to see the reactions of people like in his grade bullying him, apparently, things like that. So he is going to be back in school and the public eye. I'm just not sure to what extent and for how long they're going to keep that.
That just makes me feel so bad because I love the actor, but it's just all I can see now is just, it's just like, you're a little nerd, your parents died. Shut up, child. You know nothing of the night. You know nothing of what I've gone through. The torture and the pain that I've felt.
How
emo nerd.
How are you doing that with your voice? You're like 5.
Yeah, right. Just I'm a hard 10. But seriously though, I would. It's weird because I would love for him to stay on, but I really hope that they kind of just phase him out after the first season. Because if all this stuff happens in the first season, okay, and then it's just like, oh, he went away because of this, and I'll be okay with it. But hopefully he doesn't stay on for that long. Yeah. But anywho, so how did you feel about the scene between Gordon and Barbara? With, bringing up Montoya.
Here's one of the things, and I'm not sure if it's a legitimate thing or if it's more a matter of personal preference. I would have enjoyed this to happen much later in the season. Maybe when all the shit is hitting the fan, it would have been another thing to just pile on Gordon to see how much who is the last good man in Gotham, to see how much he can actually take before he breaks, if he breaks.
Yes. I know Flash, which we'll be talking about, I believe, on Saturday. I know, and of course you can check our Facebook and our Twitter and our website to see the updates, which of course, we'll talk about later on in the show. But we should be doing Flash and Arrow on Saturday. However, I believe Flash was scheduled for 11 episodes and then bumped up to 20-something. Am I correct or
no?
Wrong?
You're thinking of Gotham. It's scheduled for 16 and bumped to 22, I believe.
Okay, because I heard that Flash was confirmed for a full season.
Oh,
it was greenlit.
I didn't hear, actually.
Okay,
I didn't hear
but
that.
anyway,
I do know
my point is this. Well, no, my point is with relating it to Gotham, right? Because Gotham, being bumped up as well, I feel like they were prepping for 16 episodes. And because, of course, as many of you know, these are filmed in so much in advance, that now it's just like, now they're bumped up to 22, and they already had these episodes filmed, so the pacing is going to be a bit off when it comes to a show like this. This isn't something like Full House, where as much as I enjoy Full House, but each and every episode stands alone, usually. So with the fact that they stand, same thing with like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So other than some characters that may be introduced, each episode stands alone in a way that if you're bumped up from 16 to 22 episodes, nobody's sweating anything. Maybe 16 would have been like a season finale type, fair enough. But other than that one episode, and the first episode in the series, you're pretty good. But in this case, it's only, it's built on all of this, look at this drama, look at this. And they paced it in a way that I don't think they were, maybe they did expect it to be 22 episodes, maybe. But I think it would have been foolish if they just, made 16 episodes and thought, 16 won't even be the end, of the season. 16 will just be whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would say that it's a bit of a problem.
Absolutely.
I think, because you're going to notice that. Same thing with The Flash so far. You notice some of the things that have been introduced, and you're thinking, wow, this seems very early. Well, from what we hear, Flash is only set for 11 episodes for the season. So when you put that into perspective, you think, oh, that's not so bad, actually.
Mm.
Yeah. So when it comes to...
Because most Fox dramas are typically 13 to 16 episodes. So I'm feeling like Gotham writers thought, all right, we have 16 episodes, that's the norm, that's what we're going to work with. So when they just decided to do the extra, when we've already started the season, I believe they announced it when we were 3 or 4 episodes in, I don't know. I get the feeling that the last few episodes are going to be what was going to be in season 2, and that they're going to end it on like a giant cliffhanger. That's just the feeling I get.
Yeah, it has. It's not going to look pretty, I feel. I mean, don't worry. It'll probably be something crazy will happen. So we'll probably just be screaming, just right? But oh my god! But for right now, just our prediction is it won't really look so pretty. But anyway, the reason why I brought up the scene between Barbara and Gordon, not just because of that, but it was something interesting. Just the way the conversation went and the way it was written, right, was confusing to me. Because Gordon just said, what's the problem, Gordon? Is it because that, she's a woman? And Gordon's like, no, it's because you lied. And I sat there and I was like, it was such a weird choice of words because usually you hear you kept something from me or whatever, but it just feels like it's even stranger where it's just like, I'm not, it's like, I'm not homophobic. It's like, but Gordon, it sounds like from the way the scene went, like you specifically asked her while yelling, just, have you had a lesbian relationship? Tell me, Barbara. And she was like, no, I haven't. And it was like, you lied about that. It was just, I understand the idea of, you kept something from me, why are you keeping things from me? But it was just a weird situation. It was a weird situation. It was a weird place where they went. And, and I say weird situation not because it's a lesbian relationship. No, not at all. Just a weird situation because, it's just, here's the thing, too, by the way. We haven't seen enough of Montoya to feel like there's that much of a problem, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Also, the idea of it was just him being upset that, she and Montoya have been seeing each other just in general while he's been away. Being an ex, an ex in general. I'd understand that. But it was just weird because, again, maybe I'm blanking out here, but I don't remember anyone specifically asking anyone anything. It was like, no, not at all.
Yeah.
So it was a weird line.
The whole scene to me just felt really off. Yeah,
and it had nothing to do with, a relationship or anything, because it could have been anyone of any, gender. It still would have been off to us, because also another thing is, we're, I know you and I, we're not big fans of the drama. Even though the show is a drama, we're not big fans of couple drama. Mm-hmm. It happens, it happens in comic books, still not a big fan, Mm-hmm. So I'll also say that, too, where it's just, like you mentioned, too, it should be coming up later. So it's coming up now. It just feels like they're trying to pile everything up in the beginning, and it just feels strange.
Exactly.
Yes. Also, by the way, Fish Mooney, right? I'm loving her interactions with the different singers, and especially with the singer, the first one, where she ends up, basically she's saying, which became interesting, because at first it was funny, where it was just, hey, pretend that I am a man and try and seduce me. Eventually, just for 5 seconds, Fish is like, good thing you can sing. Just go. And then she mentions that she's looking for a weapon, which was interesting. And I assumed by weapon, it was going to turn into like a successor. I assume. Yes, we learn much later in episode 5 what's going on. We'll get to that when we get to 5. But as of right now, just really mull that over if you believe that as well. I thought she was looking for a successor because it just for some reason made me feel as if she was thinking, I'm going to go down. However, when I go down, we'll have someone else take my place.
Yeah, I got
something that felt
vibe.
Yes. Yeah, something that Falcone doesn't have. So, but it's strange. Also, by the way, speaking of the coolness factor of this Hitman, something that wasn't so cool, and this also happened in episode 5 as well. The idea of give this to someone, they'll do anything. Where it's just, in the beginning of episode 4, it was just, what is this? It's my invention. You should look right into it. Did you also guess that we're in a dark parking lot? I did. Kills you.
Yeah.
I don't know. And here's the thing, too. You might be like, Matt, come on. Why is someone just going to assume the worst? Like, why would someone just sit there and assume that they're in Gotham?
I was about to say, you're in fucking Gotham. You would assume the worst about anything.
If I was in Gotham, I would just shoot anyone without asking any question.
Someone could just walk up to me, sir, would you like to adopt this puppy? Why? Is its fur poisonous? Will I die if I touch it? What did you do to it?
See, that's why you're dead. I would have shot that person and the puppy immediately, and then guess what? They would have both turned into black ooze, all right? Because they were some kind of creepy creation, and I just saved my own ass. See, you're dead. You just died by by letting him finish the sentence. Just the second someone walks up to me and says, immediately they and their puppy are going to die. For good measure, because I'm in Gotham.
Of course.
Yeah. But I just feel I just love it. It's recorded. It's on the radio. If Matt is in Gotham, he will kill puppies. But yes. But anyway, so when you have Fish Mooney, right? Because at first I thought it was funny when she talked to the first singer, and but once she got to the second singer, it really dawned on me that what she was doing to them is actually a really great technique to test someone. Like, it sounds silly, but you look into it and you realize that first off you test their loyalty, right? Then you see how they react on their feet, and then you can also see how great of an actor or an actress the person is, and then And in my head, it didn't dawn on, even though it should dawn on you, be like, infiltration. It didn't hit me. I just assumed that it was just, you need to be someone just as cunning as Fish Mooney is.
I have the exact same idea.
Yeah. So it was weird. Not weird. It was ingenious where it went. And it felt like they were leading me in the wrong direction on purpose. So, damn you. Yes. So, we mentioned we love Penguin. I love how he's playing the game. I really do. How he's just weaseling his way into everything. And it's wonderful.
It really is.
It's beautiful. We love Penguin. Everyone should love Penguin. If you don't love Penguin, then I don't know what to tell you. Or Joker. Depending on what you... Bring up the fan theories, Anthony. Yeah, bring up the fan theories. We have time.
Okay. So there's currently a fan theory circulating around the internet that Penguin might actually be Joker. And the evidence to support this is he has Joker's mannerisms. What?
There's nothing.
Apparently he has Joker's mannerisms, his body build, apparently, and his jaw structure, interestingly enough. And people are basically assuming, look, technically Oswald Cobblepot is dead to everyone. So they believe that he's going to pay a fat, short man to take the name Oswald Cobblepot. And then he will become the Joker. Because reasons.
Boo. I mean, it's weird. I can see it, and I understand it. But I also, there's just certain things about him that scream Cobblepot. The fact that he walks with a limp. Right. The fact that, here's the thing, too, by the way. I think these people, and, it's not all, but some of these people who believe this, either haven't read comic books or that they have read comic books, but not the really bad interpretations of Penguin that I believe are bad, where he's just killing everyone left and right, that I don't enjoy, but that I enjoy in this aspect. How, you ask? Because this is young Penguin. So I feel as if young Penguin would kill anyone to survive. But we get to older Penguin, and I'm really not a big fan of, let's say, older Penguin, stabbing with his cane, which is actually a knife, things like that. I'm not a big fan of that. But, because I feel like at that point he can just get people to kill for him. And that's why he has become so fat, like a penguin, because he's just sitting on his ass all day. He's smart, but he's already gotten to the top, if you will. But as of right now, he's younger. He doesn't need to be that heavy, although, he does have a bit of a baby face, and I don't remember seeing any family pictures, but he could have been heavier when he was younger, too. So, it's not like they're saying that he's always been like this, So I feel like honestly, if this does happen, I'm sorry, and I know I say this with one of our co-hosts, Tish Ram, every week about WWE, we're going to stop watching. We never really do, but we feel like it sometimes. With this, right, I think I would stop watching if it was just actually, he's the Joker, and then Penguin is this short, fat guy. You were watching the Joker get up to the top without even realizing it. I just wouldn't really feel good at all. Because because again, at the end of the day, you're going to twist a few things here and there. You can twist them to make them appropriate to the situation and the comic books, where I will admit, this isn't going, with Bruce Wayne and Gordon. It isn't really going the way, the comic books would, but I feel like they're giving it enough room that it could have happened in, let's say, a separate universe. It could have happened. Making Penguin really be the Joker is basically territory that, you would have to make up a whole new universe just because. Where I feel like right now, a lot of this, not all, but a lot of this could happen. People could go, oh yeah, I can kind of see this, happening. Not that. That's just where you're going to the point where it's just too much, and I wouldn't be surprised if people are making that up as a joke. But what if, because, or they're making it up because, they're bringing it up, rather, in their minds, because, a lot of fandoms cross over. So when you start watching things like Gravity Falls, Steven Universe, Doctor Who, your brain never stops. So after a while, you're just like, but what if Bruce Wayne is actually Thomas Wayne from the past, sent to the future to be Batman? It's like, but wait, what do you mean the future? Well, okay, it's their future, but it's our past still, because it's a flashback season. It'll work out, You know what I mean?
Time.
Yeah, pretty much. Just give it some time; it'll all iron itself out. But what is Thomas Wayne just going to go into the past one day? Yes, their past, not ours. Our past is
their past. I don't know who they are. You don't need to.
Yeah. Who's on first? But yeah, I don't know. Listen, I'm sorry that I just shot down some people's theory. It's just that I feel like, this is a show that, while it can do things a bit out of the box, it still has something, in my opinion, to quote-unquote adhere to, compared to, let's say, Walking Dead. Where Walking Dead can go on and be its own thing, so I understand why they do what they do. But when it comes to this, no. Let's just no. But anyway, so the fight between Gordon and the Hitman was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I enjoyed it. Now, how did you feel about the fight between the two women?
It was interesting.
Terribly done.
Yeah, it was horribly done.
Okay, thank you.
I kind of figured it was coming when they just showed them there, but the execution was really bad.
No, that's what I'm saying. No. Let me rephrase to everyone. Yeah, just want to make sure. The fact that it happened was great. It's just like, of course it had to happen. It was really funny, and it was kind of, great how they kind of, made it so that the one that you didn't think was going to win won, right? So that was all nice. The problem is that all I hear in my head is just like, it's giving me WWE flashbacks, where it's just like, the men get 20 minutes to fight, the women get 5. I'm sorry, generous, 2. And you sit there, and in a way, I guess they were trying to make it so that it was very quick, so that the music was dramatic and, intense rather, and it was quick, and then, it's just like, and then all of a sudden you're surprised. You're like, oh, she won? What? No, you kind of were supposed to feel that. But for me, after such a long fight scene between, Gordon and the Hitman, a great fight scene. And I know that these women aren't trained, but still, maybe a bit more head bashing before it's 3 bashes and it's just you're done. And I don't know, there was just a lot of, it just felt very quick and too quick to be, to be given enough time, I feel. That's the thing. Because, and also the camera, it felt like it was a bit choppy in terms of the editing, so it was just very fast-paced in a way that was just like, as if you will sped up.
Absolutely.
And I really didn't enjoy it at all, and it felt terrible because I wanted to enjoy it. Because, it was just like, I don't know, it felt weird. I mean, also the fact that, they didn't really show any blood, which I'm not saying I always want blood, but I think it would have really brought some passion and intensity into the scene. Like, it just felt very cold, for a fight.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah. I mean, but hey, it's very interesting that she won. The second singer who we thought, while she was definitely able to, she got the seduction down, but she did not have the singing down.
Nope.
Which is very funny how life does that sometimes. Where it's just like, we need the full package. And it's like, well, I have one, then I have the other. What are we going to do? Well, we could try to combine them. Technology not available, Ms. Mooney. Well, then they should kill each other. What if that just constantly happened, where she just started saying, like, maybe we could. Technology not available, Ms. Mooney. What if we just take her vocal cords and we just give them an upgrade? Technology not available, Ms. Mooney. Like, just each and every time, it doesn't matter what happens. Be like, what if I just combine this part of this man with this part? Technology not available, Ms. Mooney. Damn it. But anyway, so, we've reached the end of episode 4, where Oswald Cobblepot stars in his own little film.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he started he did. Many of you may have missed it. It was a little film called, Attack of the Killer Cannolis, where he just, the cannolis had blades in them. He stabbed all of them after. No, but seriously, he gave them killer cannolis. It was great too, by the way, because there was I guess everyone always just underestimates him, which is also a great thing about his character. Mm-hmm. But how funny was it? Where it's just like, just, do you want one? Oh no, I would never have the poison cannolis, you schmuck.
Just the whole scene, I just was smiling ear to ear. He just walks in the door, I brought cannolis. It's like, what?
Yeah, no, that's what he said. He's like, I bought cannolis. And, it's kind of funny because I guess, Maroni, that's the, well, actually, yeah, that's supposed to be the Italian side. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's always the mob, but still, I feel like, they're trying to go for the Italian with Maroni and everything. So it's just really funny how it's just like, yeah, here's some cannolis. I want to watch you eat them. That too, by the way, where it's like, it wasn't even just like, oh yeah, enjoy them, I'm going to go. It's just, I want to watch you eat
smiling,
them.
Watching them all.
He's smiling real big. Why is he smiling real big? Hey, look, Tommy just vomited out his intestines. How funny is that shit?
I'm catching on to the pattern, but what the hell? It's a good way to go.
Yeah, right? But, so yeah, now we're at episode 5. We made it. We're already halfway there. If you want to call in and talk about episode 5 at any point tonight, 718-664-9468, 718-664-9468. And if you don't, well, then you can also listen in, which, hey, why not? There's so many people listening right now. Swear to God, there are a lot of people listening in right now. There's you, Anthony, and then there's me, and it's great.
We're a dedicated fan base.
We are our own dedicated fan base, I think. Like, honestly, I have to admit, after this show, I'm going to critique everything that I said, very vehemently on the internet. I'm just going to post, that Matt was such an asshole. Yep. So anyway, episode 5. Bruce, as I mentioned earlier, just such a good actor for Bruce. I really am enjoying. That's the bad thing about this show, where I want to say they should have given up on Bruce in episode 2, but then there's all this good stuff going on in the background, and it makes me think, damn.
The best thing for me was actually, and I had mentioned this in one of our earlier episodes for Gotham, was that I really wanted to see Bruce kind of become a junior detective in the way he was in the Court of Owls story. So when this episode, when I saw that, I was like, they're doing it.
Oh, yeah. No, the idea, I agree. The idea that he wants to protect his company is such a good one, because at the end of the day, he might become a playboy, by the by the beginning of Batman making him a playboy. But at the same time, it's the idea where it's just playboy philanthropist. He still wants to, like, he doesn't sit there and fall asleep during meetings unless it's really been a tiring night as Batman. But even if he falls asleep during meetings, he'll still be the guy who'll say, "Excuse me, I want to talk to you about this specific thing." Like, if he falls asleep at meetings because he realizes that everything is at peace, But if he's actually just like, "Oh, wait a minute, I have something to bring up to you," he's not going to go, I'll do it later. No, it's for the good of Gotham.
Exactly.
And that's what I really enjoyed about this. Also, speaking of what I brought up last episode in terms of, hey, look, just, people handing you things. I love just why are you just breathing things people hand to you? Just why?
It's like, breathe me. Well, I mean, I have no reason to distrust a vial.
Yeah, right? Like, most of my favorite drugs come from a vial. Like, it's interesting where it's just, like, I understand, they're trying to, make it a drug and whatever, but it's just, I don't know. It's how, like, listen, right, I understand, drugs can be addicting. I don't do drugs. Drugs can be addicting. I've known people who have done drugs. But anyway, the thing is, though, is how bad is it? Like, how much are you jonesing for something where it's just like, hey, man, hand you a vial for free. I'll take it.
Exactly.
Just, hey, man, here's some, I'll take that, too. Like, dude, that was just Gatorade. But, dude, I'm flying. Like, oh, okay. Like, I mean, like, I'll take whatever you give to me. Like, it's weird because, it goes from being, like, because even later Harvey was like, oh, yeah, how about we just keep all the good citizens indoors and just let these druggies go at it? And it's like, but how much of a druggie are you? I know we're in Gotham, but still, the idea of just, like, it's to the point where just hand it to anyone. Just hand the vial to anyone, and apparently they'll drink it. Like, even the quote-unquote normal citizens, I'm sure they drink it too, because welcome to Gotham, everyone.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Also, a little bit of Selena in this episode.
Yeah, that was nice. It's been a while.
Yeah, right? It's been, what was it, like 3 weeks, I think?
I believe so, yeah, 3 episodes.
Yeah, I mean, a while. And then also, I love Harvey. Jim, it's lunchtime. Relax. Jim.
It's lunchtime.
Yeah, as if Gordon was just like, as if it's like, oh, Gordon's not hearing me. Let me remind him of the importance of my daily prayer. Like, because if Harvey had a religion, it'd be lunchtime. It would be food. Yeah. But so how do you feel? Because I'll tell you about how I feel in a minute. I don't want to rant too much, but until you do. But how do you feel about the villains that we've been getting in Gotham? The villain of the week.
I will say that the villain of the week thing I'm okay with as long as it's not every single week. Like, I'd love to see at least a few episodes kind of go in maybe 2 or 3 episode arcs. I think that'd be pretty cool. The one thing about this week was that it's interesting because I actually mentioned this before we actually got on here, was that when the guy first got the little vial that said, breathe me, I was like, Mad Hatter? Because they kind of had that Alice in Wonderland vibe when she goes down the rabbit hole and she sees the cake that's like, eat me, drink me. I'm like, I guess we're getting Mad Hatter, which is kind of weird. And then it turns out to be Viper, which then turns out to be Venom. And I was like, Bane. Obviously we didn't get Bane yet, but it is pretty cool to see that. It's another case of the whole Barbara Gordon thing where I'm like, this is pretty early on to be getting this in Gotham, but okay.
Well, yeah, I think it's the idea that a lot of things, I guess they're trying to say that a lot of things end up being in lockup until, on said day, Bane, just sugar and spice and everything Viper. And then Bane was born. Lucha Libre. Dun, 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 dun. But yeah, I assumed it's getting to that. But, and they're going to be locked up, not they as people, because they're all dead. But the Viper is going to be locked up until maybe, something happens. But I agree, it is a bit too early. My take on it, with these villains, I feel like the creative teams for Arrow and Gotham just need to switch. Not the characters. Not the characters. Although, maybe Arrow creators need a few pointers. All the city. But anyway, no, but seriously, I feel like the Arrow, that Arrow is the show that should have more stuff like this. Like, the idea of not even Viper, because here's Viper, of course, it becomes, Venom. So we do have that in the Batman universe. But the thing is that with what Viper displayed so much, because it's just like if it was just like, oh yeah, Viper, you can carry around the ATM, and maybe you could like punch through like metallic stuff, and your hand's just fine. Let's say, or you can take down like 3 men. It's like, oh damn, like that's strong, right? But the way they portrayed it in this show, with what with what the first guy could pick up, it really felt as if it was just like, guys, it felt very much something that we don't see in Batman often. We would see in a lot of other universes that, that are still in DC, but a lot of other comic books. So it just feels as if the Arrow creative team was trying to make it very, 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 very grounded, where it's just, again, like, it doesn't matter, anyone. It's just like, I am a drug dealer on the street selling you this. My name is Scarecrow, right? And he's very minimal, not even the burlap sack on his head, just very minimal. And you're like, oh, that's their interpretation of Scarecrow. Where, like, Gotham is just like, oh, my name is Tippy Middlebottoms. And, and, like, he just, shoots bubbles out of his nipples that explode. Like, it's just crazy stuff that I just feel like they're, like I wouldn't be surprised if we freaking get Batmite in this season. I would not be surprised if we get Batmite. With the way they've been going, I wouldn't be surprised if the season finale is like, hey, look, it's Batman. Wait a minute, Toy Young. And then Bruce is like, what? And then Batmite is what he bases his version of Batman off of. He starts drawing. He's just like, yeah, that's a great design, just not as small. But seriously, though, although I'm not sure if I'm not being serious here, but seriously, though, I just feel like, many of the villains in Batman thus far, they're, in Gotham, rather, they're trying to, they're making them a bit more larger than life than would normally happen in a Batman comic.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, we do have some crazy stuff in Batman comics, right? But usually I feel like Batman, stuff is quote-unquote grounded in reality to a certain degree, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, something about seeing Blue Moon Man and seeing, Viper being portrayed the way it is. I'm not saying, again, it's bad. I'm not saying it's not comic book-like. Honestly, it feels like it like the creators of the show definitely read comic books. But it feels like it's it feels like it's definitely like a 1940s, 1960s comic book.
I was actually going to say it kind of feels almost like Harvey and Gordon are kind of like in a Brave and the Bold comic book.
Yes, which, I'm not, I don't want to say that's bad either. It's just that, it depends on who you're adapting to the screen, I feel. Like if you're adapting Batman to the screen or Gotham and things like that, I feel like a more grounded approach. Anything else I feel is fair game. Even Arrow, I feel like it's fair game. In terms of, I don't know a lot about Arrow via comic books, but I don't think that his villains need to be a lot more grounded, compared to, what they are right now. Mm-hmm. And then you also look at, thankfully Flash, the villains are going to have more powers, but I do think that they're trying to do a lot in Flash that's also very grounded, which is weird when it comes to Flash.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not the worst thing in the world. I just feel like this is a weird show, Gotham, to not take baby steps in the water. To just be like, Balloon Man is his name, and just basically dive in head first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not the worst thing in the world, but I just feel like this is a show that would be great to have more things like the way the Count Vertigo was shown. Not Count Vertigo himself, but the way he was shown, or things like, like Toy Man and, and other kind of, they do have Dollmaker. I always get them confused. They have Dollmaker in this. Dollmaker. He's in Gotham, or is it Toy Man who's in Gotham? My brain is shot. Dollmaker, who's in Gotham. But Toyman was in Arrow. Yes. Okay. Yeah, it would be nice to have Toymaker as well. Things like, people like that I can see in a weird way. But in having, it's a strange thing, I feel. And then again, not bad, just different. But yes. So, how do you feel about Penguin kind of letting everything out to Maroni?
It was interesting. It's so weird. It's just with this show, there are so many things where I'm like, why are they doing this early on, guys?
Right.
It's okay to keep it on hold for a while. You have a lot more than 16 episodes now. It's just, I mean, I know they've shot it already.
They didn't know that at the time.
Yeah, that's the thing. I know they shot it already. It's just that I just feel like too much is getting let out too early. The whole thing with Barbara, Penguin releasing all this information to Maroni, it could have waited.
It could have. But think of it like this, too. Let's pretend it was 16 episodes. They may not take any breaks.
All right, that is a good point.
Yeah, and right now we're already, if you think about it, next week, next Monday, we're already 6 episodes in, so 10 would be left.
Yeah.
So that's what's interesting, I feel. But something that I want to bring up, though, not just that, I feel like they, maybe it's just me, but I feel like this is one of those situations that people as in writers, they made it happen. And of course it sounds silly because it's like, well, everyone's writing this, Matt. What are you talking about? It's the idea that sometimes with writing, you end up betraying what a character would do to make the plot advance, or you just kind of make people go with the motions. And I feel like this was one of those situations. And I'm sorry, everyone. Again, I love Gotham, so and I love the writers for Gotham. I love the actors and everything. I really do enjoy Gotham, but it just feels as if this was a situation where it was just, okay, we need to basically keep on putting crap on Gordon, and then one day he will face a moral dilemma. We need to do that immediately. Awesome, let's have Penguin reveal this information to them. And I'm not saying that he wouldn't try, and do stuff to be favorable with them, but it just feels like a large oversight from Penguin.
Yeah.
Where, it feels like it's like, Penguin, you should have expected someone to punch you in the face and threaten to kill you. You're back in Gotham. Did you really felt so calm? Really? I mean, okay, if you did, I mean, that's you, I guess. But usually he's not the kind of person to do that. He's very guarded, very to himself. So it's strange that he would just think, actually, you know what? No. I'm going to do that. It's strange. Not the biggest fan. But of course, I will admit it is nice, to give, Gordon these dilemmas because later on it is going to hurt him. And that's cool.
Yeah.
But, the way it happened was a bit off. Did you notice, maybe it was just me, I just really enjoy, it's now on to something funny, sort of. I really enjoy how much Harvey just gets thrown around by people.
Yeah.
Because he's always being thrown around by somebody, through something. Gordon got some of that in this episode with Viper, a little bit he got. But it's usually always Harvey, just, when he was fighting I believe it was like a UFC fighter.
Yeah.
She was a bodybuilder who's just throwing him around. It's just go on. That happens apparently. So yeah, that was funny. That and then I got to tell you, I fucking died. Right? I mean, I fucking died when Gordon is just interrogating this professor, and all of a sudden Harvey goes, "And what's altruism?" I
lost it. I was watching it on DVR and I had to pause it because I was just going to laugh for a while. I couldn't miss anything. I was just laughing so hard at that.
I believe I did the same too. Or if it went to commercial, I think I let the commercials run because it was. I also had it recorded on DVR. It was just too much. It was too much. I mean, you love Harvey, right? Because of and it just that's the thing. The characters in this show are pretty perfect. Pretty much perfect. I mean, what they, how they write them and what they say, very rarely am I like, oh, that's not something so-and-so would say. I mean, you look at something like Barbara, and I know how you feel about Barbara, but we don't know much about a young Barbara. So this, in theory, could fit, And with Alfred, too, we've complained about Alfred, but now we just chuck it up to different universe. So, it's hard, and also he's becoming more and more lovable as the show goes on.
That is true.
But it's just Harvey. It's just because everything else was just some kind of term in place, and it all made sense. And he just didn't get what the word altruism is. So in his head, it's like that's some code word, or that's some name of a place. That's the name of a company. It's like, yeah, and what's altruism? And then Gordon just had this look on his face, like, son of a bitch. It was all perfect. It was all way too perfect. It was just. Oh man, it's just such a good. They're great writers and they're great actors on this show, and I really things like that will keep me watching. Character interaction will really keep me watching.
Absolutely.
But yeah. So, and also bringing it up before, as we have to wrap things up because we're getting to the end. I just love little Bruce.
Mhm.
So much because, like I said earlier, where he really cares about, his company. He really does. Like, I wouldn't have been surprised if the Viper guy didn't die. I would not have been surprised if he would have said, hey, I'm talking to you. Like, I'm going to go to jail, like, whenever visitation period I can, to speak to you and to get the lowdown on what went on in my company. And I'm going to come back and I'm going, like, now that, just the idea that he's like, was that true? Oh, of course it wasn't true, Bruce. Now that he knows that this stuff is going on, I cannot wait to see, this little Bruce, take on his company. Because that's something I think I'll take more than Bruce, Bruce goes to school. Like, no, I'd rather be, Bruce, trying to take over his company and possibly being voted out or something like that. And he's like, fine then, I'm going to leave and I'm going to go train. And then we don't see Bruce for a while.
Mhm.
Until he's just like giant and ripped, and it's just like, Bruce, and he's like, yes. Bruce, how old are you? 12. I would be very excited to see just 12-year-olds. I'm Bruce, man. Shit, I mean Batwing. What if that's just how he just goes through, it's like, it's only through puberty. Like, it's just like, like he's 13, 12, 13. He's just like, it's like, yeah, it's like, Alfred, can you get the car? Just blinks, just, it's like, Master Bruce, but I don't know. I really don't understand anything. I'm Batman. Like, just, that's how he realizes. He's like, it's time, Alfred. But anyway, yeah, so I love little Bruce. I love that he cares. I can't wait for the future and where that goes. And, of course, at the last scene that we saw, it was just ingenious because it's not like, Fish Mooney was trying to make a successor, which is also smart. I mean, you never know what can happen in the field. I mean, she plans on, taking down Falcone, and Falcone does lose, but I mean, she can also die. So then it's like, who takes over? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a smart thing to invest in someone to help you. Now, strange that she would do this so soon after Penguin, but she did choose a woman, which, I mean, I think maybe in her head is, a better investment in someone to, take over for her or to have it as an assistant, let's say, than a man like Penguin. Kind of a more Selena Kyle approach, but I can see it coming from her. Like, I can really see, actually, the actress for Fish, for Fish being Catwoman, strangely enough. Like a, kind of like an Eartha Kitt type situation. I can see that. But anyway, like, if I had not seen any of the promotional stuff, or had they not shown Selena Kyle in the first minute, I would have been like, is that Catwoman? Hey, Miss Maroney, is that Catwoman? Because she kind of gives off this very much like a kind of vibe that Eartha Kitt kind of gave when she would, be Catwoman. It's very interesting. But anyway, so yeah, we see her basically making a weapon, making someone who knows a lot, or at least everything about Falcone, and can manipulate him into loving her. And then I don't know what happens next, but I assume it's manipulated into loving her. I have no idea. Like, how do you feel about this? As we wrap up.
I feel like the same way that she's gonna manipulate him into loving her. Possibly she'll try to kill him in his sleep.
It's weird though, because that's smart, but I don't know, because this like, watch just episode 6, Falcone dies. I don't know, where are we going with this show?
What are you leaving us?
Yeah, like, what are you? I'm so confused. It's as if they just thought, you know what? Like, they got the word on how Flash is being done, and I haven't seen the newest episodes, but at the end of episode 1, it was pretty revealing for some of us comic book fans. So it's just how, so it would be really interesting if it's just, we heard, about what they're going to do with the Flash, so we just decided to one-up them. You get your entire show. You think it's weird to have one episode basically kind of possibly spoiling a future plot point? Oh no! By episode 6, the season's done. The other 10 are filler. But yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting situation, and I can't wait to see where it goes. And yeah, hopefully she tries to kill him in his sleep. I don't know why that's on record, but it's been... Matt Marrero says hopefully she decides to kill him in his sleep. Tonight at 10, other bad things Matt Marrero has said on his podcast.
I was about to say, this is going to be the greatest podcast to listen back to on repeat. Matt Marrero will kill puppies if he's in Gotham. And he also wants people killed in their sleep.
Apparently that's what Matt Marrero wants. Just completely taken out of context.
Tonight's episode.
Yeah, just taking out of context. It's in Gotham, everyone, not Metropolis. We're in Gotham. You know, but anyway, so sadly we have to wrap up. Before we do, though, I want to mention to everyone that you make custom figures, don't you, Anthony?
This is true.
Do the spiel, do the shtick. Talk about what you do.
I have a few different things going on. One of them is an Instagram called Geek for Life Blog, the number 4. You can go on there, check out custom figures that I've made, whether it be repaints, retools, or kit bashing. Kit bashing, essentially, is if you want a particular costume or incarnation of a character, and you know exactly what you want. Like, let's say you want the arm from this figure, the body from this figure. I can take them apart, combine them, and reassemble them, and repaint them to match the figure you want. That's all on the Instagram Geek for Life blog. There is also a blog spot that I have called figuresandgeeks.blogspot.com, which is where you can go to see figure reviews, movie reviews, TV show reviews, and even information about our upcoming podcasts.
Right. So that's what you have going on. So, and thank you guys. Thank you all for listening to those guys.